How about that idea, everybody? Look at that. Come on, man. Sweet. Sweet. I'm going to polish her up for her. And she looks really cool, man. It's hard to believe how many bikes. You know, everybody on my channel, if you think it through, it's beyond believable to think how many bikes. Remember now, I got rid of the Indian FTR. Got rid of the Indian Chief Robber. I got rid of the Triumph Rocket. I got rid of the CVO Harley. There's 4 bikes that are gone from just this collection. And probably something else I can't remember. Beyond believable, right, everybody? I mean, what the hell? Who has it? Who do you know that's more stupid than me? Send me their information so I can say, hey, misery loves misery. Yeah, you're just as stupid as me. You bought all these toys that basically have like no value, right? Yeah, everything here, for the most part, it ain't worth what I owe on it. That's what's the world we live in, everybody. So, get this over here like that. With the doggies. And kind of put this back together here. And there we go. There's the Indy 500. One woman. Do you know about the woman that's going to go from here and do like Tony Stewart did? I'm sure it's been somebody else. She's going to go from racing the Indy 500 to the Coca-Cola 600. So she's going to go from Indy to NASCAR. And they're like, why? She says, because I just want to. No rhyme or reason. You know these stories? Do you know this type of person, everybody? Probably. Alright, so now it's over here. Get this over here. Watch out, Will. See that there, everybody? How about that idea? Alright, Will. Yeah, it doesn't really matter right now, Will. So now I'm going to get my polish, my speed polish out. And I'm going to use this and clean her all up, everybody. Look at little Gypsy baby. Hi, Gypsy baby. What you doing, baby, huh? Good little girl. All right, well, it's interesting. This guy just contacted me out of the blue. He's due here at 1:15. So, if I would have gone somewhere today, I would have gone somewhere, we'd be like, damn, should have stayed home. I was thinking of going and checking out the new cycle gear in Manassas, Virginia. But man, it's just anymore. Get on the road and driving, I just hate it. It's crazy at the age I am, where I live. I just do not want to drive on these roads. I hate them. It's the worst. Driving to Manassas, Virginia would be an hour ride, traffic galore. If you think I'm making this stuff up, man, I mean, where I live, the traffic is just horrendous. It is so bad. So I like on how Harley did the sticker on the bikes. Maybe it's paint. I doubt it. Like my bike has the decal. When you go to wipe that tank down, it's really bad. The reason it's really bad is because it's you get your cloth caught up in it. Yeah. Oh my gosh. The thing about life, as I get older, man, it's pretty incredible as you get older, how you really notice how you age, how it really is some days for me just radically different of how I feel. Like my energy level is back today. You know, I feel better, but man, I mean, it's been like a slow death. And younger people just don't understand this stuff. As you get older, you really do understand more than ever. As you get older, you're getting older, and your body really is more likely to cycle the ups and downs of the good and bad. Yeah, it ain't no fun getting old, everybody. So, All right, not too shabby for the holly. You won't like the butterflies, but those come off easily with a little heat gun. Mirror's kind of cleaned up. And I think we'll be pretty good, everybody. I think the person will be pretty content. What's in the bags? Probably don't want to know. Alright. I want to kind of spritzer my Harley here because it's a little... something's got on it. I don't like that. Alright. It's like right now, you go to wipe aside a tank, you hit this little thing here and your towel gets all screwed up. It's the bird crap. So I'm surprised this bike didn't have more bird crap on it, to be honest with you. So, alright. Yippee yahoo, everybody. Alright, yippee yahoo. Alright, just put the dogs all up. You know, even though I'm not worried about the dogs, but what if the guy brings his own dog? My dogs would go nuts. They probably scratch the hell out of his car. So forget that. And that happens. People just randomly bring their dogs, not really thinking to themselves, what if the person I'm going to see has a whole pack of dogs? Which most don't. But I can promise you, if that person pulls up in a nice truck and they had a dog or two in that truck, my dogs would go nuts. End of the day, the guy's truck would be all scratched up. And I would say, oh, okay, great. Now I probably have to pay $1,000, $2,000 to have this guy's truck fixed. So no thank you, but Willow is acceptable. Here it is. And Bob Melbourne said, hey, get an inversion bed. And you're right. And guess where it is? It's buried back here under the stairs with all my other crap. But I agree, inversion bed would be a great idea to pull out because it stretches you out. So I think it's a great idea. Challenge is taking apart the whole shop to get the crap out. That's always my challenge. So the wood is so wet that, I mean, the wood is so wet, it ain't gonna burn. Now I can always just put a tarp over that. But you know what? I don't care. Who cares? Because the odds are to start raining again, so it just puts it out. And for the most part, I mean, this area anymore, we don't really get like the day in, day out rains like we used to. It just seems like this area has changed. From years ago, I can so remember this area being such a drag because it would literally be, you know, just rain and rain and rain and rain. And we just haven't had that type of weather here in years. You know, last year was a kind of a dry, hot summer. This year, you know, so it just doesn't, you know, anyways, whatever. How's my pool doing? We've had a lot of rain. Let's go check that out. Yesterday it was just raining so much that I did not, and my back was killing me so much. I just didn't, I didn't do the pool inspection, and my shoes are not weatherproof. These shoes get soaked very quickly. So let's go check it out. I mean, the pump doesn't even say when it's running. What's going on? Right? Oh, because it's so... Well, first of all, looky here. I got in this pool the other day. I don't know if I told anybody that. But I got in this thing on Wednesday afternoon before the weather came in. It was so nice. I was like, what a bummer. I told Julia, I was like, you know what? I told the ice girl, I said, this will be the last time I use this pool probably for a good week, at least. I mean, we don't really have warm weather coming back. We have some breakup of the weather. But, yeah, so that's what's going on there. So, yeah, I enjoyed the pool. Now, where is... Oh, that's funny. It's probably trapped down here. This here, the only downside to this idea here is, as you can see. But, you know, you swim in the ocean, you swim in the lakes, some of the ponds, the creeks, rivers, and it's green. So to me, it's like, what's the difference? Does it really have to, you know? So here's the thing. I'm sure most people understand why pools have to be crystal clear blue. You have to be able to see if somebody's in the pool and it's drowned. That's the main reason that people actually have really nice, clean pools. I mean, you think it through. If you had a bunch of people over your house, you have an in-ground pool, whatever, even that pool, and there's little kids, and you can't see the bottom of the pool, you can't see what's in the pool, you're crazy. You know, what's the number one thing that people drown in rivers and ponds and everywhere else is because they go under, you can't see them anymore. You can only imagine if you were in Florida in crystal clear water and somebody goes under and it's not, you know, let's just say your boat is anchored and it's maybe 6 to 8 feet of water, you would be able to, you know, possibly rescue that person because you would see them. But when you're out in 6 to 8 feet of murky, dark water, then no. So I wonder where this person is. 111, that's not them. Who will it be, right? Cleaned up my mirror. How about that? This mirror, I think I got this mirror when I lived in a townhouse. I think, or when I first moved here. Either I got it at 91 or like 89. So this mirror is how old? 40 plus years old? I don't know. I need a different towel. Let's see if the person, oh, he's on a bike. So this is funny. Okay, here he is. So this gate, there it is. So I closed the barn doors by accident. What's that? I mean, it's just too much stuff. So let's see if he's a rider because the gravel is very tricky. And if you're not a rider, he's going to trade me his BMW bike to, hey, partner. Where are you? Yeah. And he's a rider.
Beautiful light out here.
Yes, sir. Beautiful bike. Wow. Are you trading it in? Is that what you're doing? When you see my shop, you'll think I'm a motorcycle dealership because I got lots of flair.
Gotcha.
And wham, bam, shabam, I'm back. You thank you, ma'am. All right, nice man came by in that BMW K1600 GTL, and he had a Harley. He wants to get a Harley again. His wife's saying give it a good month before you buy one. So what he says, which, yeah, whatever. Nice, but very nice man. But he said the wife's saying got to wait a month, whatever that means. And so does he come back? I'd say it's 50-50 on that. But you know what's good to know is I have been getting some hits on that. I don't think I even renewed my listing. So maybe I need to renew my listing again to get it active again because it's such a nice bike. It's a shame that somebody wouldn't really come out and take advantage of picking this bike up because it really is just a beautiful bike. There you go. And Skyline Harley, I think, at 10 motorcycles. I counted their sales, and I'm not sure I'm totally 100%, but I'm always intrigued to know what they're doing. So last night, I believe I counted 9, maybe 10. I think they just sold another one today. But boy, oh boy, everybody, I tell you what, if I'm a Harley dealer and I'm like 24 days into the month, and I've sold maybe 10 motorcycles. I don't know about you guys. And wow. To me, you know, you're talking not even a motorcycle. You're talking whatever, who knows. But anyways, nothing to be beating up Skyline Harley by any means. Hope the best for them. I really do. But at the same time, it's challenging. Let's watch the Indy. Let the troublemakers back out. Now, I don't even know what that girl's name is. I'll have to look it up. But is she in the race? That'd be interesting if she crashed. But she's okay. Would she still go to the Coca-Cola 600? I guess she has no choice. A commitment. Look at this. Saying 230 miles an hour, buddy. Can you even imagine? I mean, I just get up in high speeds in my own motorcycles and car, not anything close to that. And I think, wow. That is crazy. So I really like the look here, everybody. This looks so much nicer and cleaner. And it's something how the domination in my shop is the bikes and not the cars. Which, in my book, I like that. I like the artwork. And for the Camaro, like the paint's perfect. Anyways, yeah, whatever. Let's go get the troublemakers. The kid is doing her thing. And for me, thank God, my freaking back. I finally worked that pinched nerve. That's what happens to me. It's so weird. I will do something that pinches a nerve in my back. And usually it is a good 2 days to 3 days of healing. But this time, I was starting to think this morning, I was really thinking, man, this is not good. And I really don't want to go to a chiropractor. I just don't want anybody to start poking around my body, everybody. I'm just like, I'll pass on that. So let's go in here and see what the troublemakers are doing. But if the weather's a little nicer, I'd be across the field cutting grass. That's what I need to do. But here we go. And there they are. Look at the little babies. Look at the little troublemakers. Yes, you guys. You guys. All right, what am I doing? I'm getting a banana. A banana, everybody. Here's an old banana that needs to be chucked. Come on, pups. Let's go. You know, after seeing that snapping turtle walk around my property, I tell the kid all the time, it's like, you know, you got to be careful leaving his front door open. It's like to air out the house. But at the same time, it's like, what goes in the house? What snake? We got a black snake out here that shows up like every year. I mean, one year, raccoon. I mean, it's kind of like, uh-oh. So I'm like, you know, you want me to shut that front door. Don't do it, everybody. Yeah, I'm back to talking, aren't I? You know what? And every now and then, believe it or not, I do make content. But then I just like, I'm not lying. I did a whole day's worth of power spraying on that back deck. A good amount of content and video. And you know what, at the end of the day, it's like, I just don't feel like publishing it. So I didn't. So, you know, so I every now and then do make content, but then the day I'm like, I just don't feel like publishing it. So yeah, so behind the scenes, I do things that you just sometimes don't see because I don't feel like publishing it. One thing I learned earlier is don't place this part on anything that it can burn. I placed it like this, and it marked it. So you got to keep this thing away from whatever you're doing. And I bet you go out of this little tank. I bet you burnt these little tanks pretty quickly. But am I going to continue trying to make a fire? I don't know. Not having much success on that. So I'm going to kind of keep this. I'm tempted to buy another one just to have more than one. Is that stupid? Pretty much it is. Yeah. Telling that gentleman, I said, you know, trying to sell a motorcycle that's 18, 19 grand, I said, it's very challenging. Because most people just don't have that type of money. And what happens is the guy goes to the Harley dealer, they entrap him, and they get him all excited and tell him he's the most beautiful thing in the world. Then they have the financing there. Then he's offered no payments. I mean, this was true. No payments for the summer months. You may have 90 days or whatever it may be. Or, you know, the list goes on and on and on. So a person gets trapped in that environment. And then the salespeople make you feel guilty if you don't buy a bike from them. And at the end of the day, the guy is going to spend, in my book, 10 grand more. There's no doubt in my mind, somebody's going to buy this exact same bike today with a different instrumentation on it, maybe a different color, but at the end of the day, it's going to be 10 grand more than my bike that's cherry, flawless, nothing wrong with it, and has an upgraded exhaust system on it. So if they did everything that I did on this here, they'd be at 30 grand, I guarantee you. I'll say just for the hell of it, the dealer gives the bike to him and bends over like never seen. And the guy gets the bike for 26, 27. I mean, but that would be the dealer. Just, there's nothing there, man. I mean, they didn't get their nice fat commission, and in the back end didn't make any money putting the exhaust on. So I just can't see it. But it is what it is. Right now, you're doing 215 miles an hour. Look at that, man. Look at that, how everything coming. Good Lord. I have to say, I haven't watched Indy 500 in years, but to have that view, that perception of where you're in that cockpit and how fast everything's coming up on you, that's beyond unbelievable. Because the camera, it's very challenging for a camera, especially these type of views, to give you an idea how fast they're going. That was so cool being in that cockpit. I wish they'd do it again. So they're already, so not even halfway there yet. Wow. Hey, I want to be back in the cockpit. Let's do it again. Oh, wow. Catherine Legg, she's out. Isn't that crazy? So I'm seeing right here on Facebook saying that Catherine Legg, she crashed. Wow. So it says right here, look, we have a big one, backstretch. That is Catherine Legg and Ryan Hunter. So it has to be the only girl driver in the series. Wow. Well, we're halfway there, everybody. They're at 105 laps of 200 laps. But I think we're under caution again. What's going on here? I don't even know. I'm on the page of cleaning up things, and now it's like, do I wipe down my bikes again? I mean, I spend more time wiping down my bikes than I do riding them. Wife's like, well, gee, that was awful nice of you to get that bike all pulled out for the guy. Doesn't even want to buy it today. I'm like, well, it's just the way it is, everybody. Whatever. So yeah, now I'm tempted to wipe down some of my bikes, and do I give the Camaro a nice little bath and bring her back inside the shop here, because they definitely have plenty of room for in here. So I don't know. We shall see. And thank goodness the birds really have sewed up on crap and everything. It was incredible. The rains were so hard that it really cleaned that camper off. So that's a good thing, right? Wow. I go through this stuff like hotcakes, everybody. But yeah, here we are. Same old story. But the pollen, I think, has kind of died down a little bit, because that's the biggest thing about wiping things down this shop, is the pollen just shows back up so quickly that it's like a waste of time. But hey, you know what? I'm enjoying watching the Indy 500s, so I'll just kind of stay out here in the shop, and my back is getting better. So just, you know what? Even I know the days I was hurting, just being on my 2 feet was better than being sitting down, because it's like sitting down and getting up is brutal. Oh my gosh. There we are, everybody. It's never ending wiping down vehicles like I own my own little dealership. Maybe you know those stories. I mean, look at this, everybody. I mean, it's just something, isn't it? But oh well. We'll get it pretty again. Alright, so now the trike. Tell you, if the weather was a little better, I'd go ride my trike, but you know, not with my back. I forget already. It's like, duh. But the biggest thing that goes on riding in wet weather is your gear. I've talked about it numerous times on how your gear just gets destroyed. So I'm guessing the way this goes, what's going on here, I wonder. I don't know what's going on, but who knows. You know, it's incredible how I was younger as a kid. You know, the Indy 500, that was a huge thing. Today, to me, it's like big deal. You know what I mean? Why is that? Right? I have no idea, to be very honest with you. But the music in the background, and as I go through these cans of this material, which is not like it's free. It's like $3.69, $3.68 a can. The only downside to these big screens, they get scratched up so easily. That's what I've noticed. In the glare of the sun, you'll see all the scratch marks in that plastic. So it's very challenging on how you clean that, because you're not careful, you really will scratch the hell out of it. So all the cars are pitted. What's going on? I have no idea. I got kind of a dirty rag, which kind of plays out on everything else. But whatever. One thing I want to do on this bike here is, I don't get this thing plugged back in because this bike definitely has, I think, electrical challenges. So the question is, it's on. I need to ride this bike. I say it all the time, but I never do ride it, do I? Well, we got her. Yep, she's charging. And to the next one. And the next one. The gentleman that came here, it's always interesting conversations when you meet people, and his daughter, he claims his daughter kind of knows how to ride a bike, and that would maybe be a good bike for her. I'm like, you know, but how much riding experience does she have? And I mean, in all sincereness, it didn't sound like she had a lot, but the biggest thing is, I think it's funny how people operate. So he's saying that his daughter's going to get married, getting ready to get married, and he's thinking, you know, maybe she'd ride that. I said, but does her husband, her future husband, approve of that? Does he? I said, does he even ride bikes? Like, no. I said, he's not going to approve his newlywed wife ride a motorcycle. It ain't going to happen. It's like, no way. I mean, I think we're all funny. Very astute, very professional, very smart guy that's looking at that bike. He's probably in his late 40s and maybe 50. And you can just tell he's an engineer guy, computer guy, tech guy. But I was just thinking, so you really think your daughter's future husband, who has nothing to do with motorcycles, isn't approve of her getting on the motorcycle? I'm like, I doubt it, but I could be wrong. But I mean, I know if I was a guy madly in love with a woman, I wasn't a motorcycle rider, I'd be like, no. I'm like, no, you're not right. You're not gonna do that. That's your dad's thing. But who knows?